Alright, hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm making this video today. Just kind of giving my thoughts on video gaming in general and cheating, and there's a lot of uh, uproar, I guess, about that and everything, which I understand. It's kind of annoying, if you're playing a game you like and you come across. I mean, sometimes it's blatant, sometimes it's not. Um, kind of like gotta ask yourself, is it really surefire thing that somebody's definitely like aimbotting or wall hacking or something like that, or ESP or something? There's the blatant ones. If you have to have gamed long enough in order to, or you've had to have played, certain games long enough to be able to point that, to be able to like definitively like be sure of yourself. Like, yeah, this is definitely going on. But as far as like certain people that are like boosting or cheating or whatever, like that's just been a part of like online multiplayer gaming. Um, as far as I know, since I've been playing, like that's just kind of how it works for whatever reason. So I would recommend if you are like really like worried about, oh my, are they hacking or aimbotting, wall hacking, something like that. Um, kind of just have to find a place to where you can kind of just live with that. Just kind of be like, well, they're out there. It's gonna happen. Um, find a different game mode or something, or a different game to play. There's tons of games out there. Doesn't matter what, like whether it's AAA or whatever game that you're playing. It's possible that if you're playing multiplayer games, that someone could have something that is giving them like a huge advantage. And as far as um, to go into like the controller, keyboard and mouse, um, I guess uh, conversation or whatever it is that's going on with the keyboard and mouse controller. When people are saying, "Oh yeah, you're using keyboard and mouse, it's not fair," or "I'm using a controller, just a wee little controller." Let's be real, okay? Um, the the controllers, especially nowadays. I mean, even back on like early consoles, there's like turbo controllers and stuff like that. So um, if you're using a keyboard, a mouse, or a controller, I honestly don't care. I don't think either one has room to complain when it comes to legitimate gaming, though, for the most part. Perhaps um, if you're taking the keyboard and mouse over to console, you slightly may have like a slight advantage or something like that if you can program certain sensitivity markers like in game, which I don't think you can on console. And I think the way the controllers are modded now at this point, I don't think there's really that much of a difference, to be honest. It's really your preference, I would say. If we're gonna go that route as far as like people doing the comparisons, and it's really just a cheesy knockoff thing for someone to say, well, I'm more skilled because I use a controller. Oh yeah, look at me. It's like, well, that's fine. I mean, you would have a disadvantage, I would say, if you take a controller over to PC because you can adjust, I think, a lot more of the sensitivity settings and stuff. But as far as like taking a keyboard and mouse over to console, I think most games aren't really optimized for keyboard and mouse. So like I don't think, um, and again, these controller players have a lot more mods going on with their controllers and stuff. These whatever this Cronus thing is, some other things that actually help them compete on the same level, maybe if not better than keyboard and mouse on the consoles. So I'm not saying that's definitively like true or something like that. I'm just saying that I don't think people have the same basis to complain about keyboard and mouse on consoles as much as they think they do. It's you really have to do some of your own research as far as that stuff goes and come to your own conclusions to a certain extent on some of these things, because just because you hear something doesn't mean it's, you know, necessarily, the gospel truth or whatever. Um, and I understand that it's like easy to fall into that and be like, oh well, this is like, it's so unfair, keyboard and mouse against controller, but they don't take into account a lot of different aspects of like the different setups, right? Because PCs have a lot more, um, they have a lot more, different things that you can edit and stuff like that as far as the sensitivity and stuff. And I went and I played Modern Warfare Warzone on PS4 with the keyboard and mouse, and I gotta tell you, sure, I play better than I would with a regular controller, but most of the people that are like complaining about keyboard and mouse are tryhards with like modded controllers and stuff like that. And they're not really giving you the full picture of what they're like when they're complaining about this stuff. They just don't want you to bring the keyboard and mouse over because they don't want the competition basically. Oh, it's not fair. We can't just dominate the consoles with our modded controllers and stuff like that. It's you know, it's whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about a few of those things. And like I said, when it comes to Warzone and the cheating and stuff, sure, there's definitely like aimbots and stuff, and people are definitely using like soft cheats or whatever, certain people. But find the game modes that you enjoy and just, you know, we'll be talking about that until multiplayer gaming thing isn't a thing anymore. Multiplayer gaming isn't around or whatever, which who knows. But as far as like um getting enraged, it's a momentary thing. I get enraged about a certain thing. If I think somebody's cheating or something like that, I might even say something like, yeah, this is sketchy or sus, whatever. But like I don't really go off and say like somebody's definitely like BS or whatever unless they're just repeatedly like one tap headshots over and over and over and over again, which is just it's like, okay, bro, what are you doing? Like, what are you using? Obviously, because it's just you're using some kind of like, some method to bring that kind of like basically unnatural. You could say it's natural because I'm using this thing that helps me get headshots, unlimited headshots, whatever, and that's fine. You can go that route and say that. That's fine. But don't get too worked up about the the cheating as far as like, I mean, I see a lot of people posting videos and oh, this person's cheating and these people are definitely cheating and stuff, and that's fine. They can do that and everything, but it's still not going to fix it, right? We can sit here and complain about, oh, it's not fair. These people are, bot lobbies and VPNs and stuff, and it's like, well, that sucks. But us sitting here and complaining about it, it's not gonna, it's not gonna make it go away, right? Because I think there's money involved and other stuff, so you know, it's not gonna it's not going to get fixed, and us buying into the, oh, I just wish it would change, is, it's not fair and stuff. It's not going to, unless, they actually games actually have some kind of like legitimate anti-cheat installed or something. It's not going to. So I'd say have some fun and try not to let it eat at you too much, basically. Um, like I said, expand your horizon in different games and stuff. And so, like, don't get too sucked into one particular game, I guess. You know, if you enjoy video games, don't get too sucked in because the one that you enjoy is probably has a decent amount of, you know, hackers, whatever, in it. So, and I think you let them win by letting them get to you like constantly, right? Where they suck the enjoyment out, where you let them get to you like that. It's like, you know, it's like any kind of like thing where, you know, somebody gets off on that. Can't just, we gotta fight it. We gotta fight the urge to just uh get too sucked into that rabbit hole or whatever of, oh my gosh, like, what are these companies gonna do about it? What are they gonna do? Probably nothing. Probably nothing. So if you don't, you know, if you've been playing a game and you don't like it and stuff, you don't have to buy it. It's like I stopped buying like NBA 2K games because servers are bad. The input lag's horrible, and for me that's enough to take the enjoyment out of the game. So I just stopped playing it several years ago, and I was like, I said I had a few choice words for it, but that's out of frustration. You know, I just said a couple things on a forum, but um, you know, you gotta kind of have to think those things out and just. I came to a point where I was like, okay, I could just sit here and complain and whine and complain and say, oh, this I don't like this and whatever, and it's like it's not changing, so it's like, oh, why do I keep getting pissed off about it? It's not going to. So like a lot of these certain games, you know, they're like you gotta have these specs or whatever, but like they don't take into account like high refresh rate monitors and stuff at the same time. They're like, oh, you need to have these recommended specs for a PC game or something like that. But then they lock you in at 60 FPS. Makes no sense, right? Absolutely no sense, and that's why the 2K franchise I think is a failure in my opinion. It's not a failure. I'm saying I think it is. Uh, I just don't think they want to do a game on PC anymore. I don't. I think they just, you know, they want their platform on the consoles, and then they'll go to the excuse and say, well, not enough people were interested in the PC version. That's BS. They just don't, for whatever reason, they, you know, lock the game at 60 FPS, and they don't want to take advantage of high refresh rate monitors for some reason. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it. So, signing off. This is RST 14.